Welcome to Reactive Reload, a radio show you're always on time for. I'm just one of your hosts, Irish Cowboy, joined by your other host, Crossover. We are going to be reloading the gaming news and entertainment from the last week or so and reacting to it. And it's going to be all about the games today. Avengers, DC Universe, little Titanfall. I'm going to be talking about an awful gaming habit I just can't seem to kick. And as always, speculate. So, what did you think of the 3080 and 3090? Did you get to look into Adam?
I mean, I know that you were upset with them a little bit, but the more that I think about it, it's maybe not the great leap forward that we were all looking for, but for me, it's going to make the 2080s that much cheaper, and so I'm good with that. You know, like I always like to play a little bit like behind. So, did you hear just the cheaper alternative?
I agree. Like whenever I go to buy something like tech wise, for me, it's always like the second best. That's how I go for things, because like, I mean, the second best here would be like $700 with the 3080, but the 3070 is better than the 2080 Ti, and so that has 8 gigabits of VRAM, which is good because I mean that's what my 2080 right now has is 8, and but the 3070 now has 8, and so the new 3080 is going to have 10, and so that is much better, but when it comes down to it, the performance isn't like everything. It has to have a good amount of VRAM.
Yeah. Got to have the power.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they say it can outperform the 2080 Ti and make lots of memes and, you know, post about it. But if the 2080 Ti had 11 gigabits of VRAM. So.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's be real, though. The memes that's the most important. In today's day and age, you have to be able to just meme your way to the top. Doesn't actually matter how good or how bad you are. It's all about the memes.
The one I saw was the scientist going into work, and he's in his locker, puts on his lab coat. I'm like, oh, here it is. Like, and they have like 2080 Ti owners over his head, and I'm like, oh, he's just gonna like beat the shit out of a locker or something. And like destroy his computer and just get really mad about it. But as soon as he opened the door, he gets blown back into his lockers. There's 2 other scientists on the other door with a high pressure air cannon, and over their heads is 3080. God, it was so funny. I've got to send you that one. Alana, her sources apparently. I had to look into it a little bit more, and her source was still works at a some kind of some vendor, some actual credible store, she says, and I believe her. I don't think she's the kind of she doesn't like lie or give anything for clickbait. She's just down to earth, and so I have a feeling like everyone's just following the 600 trend, because for their businesses they have to put something on there. Like, who says that they even know, you know? But for them to plan ahead, you know, like a good business move would be to actually, you know, make plans in advance for these things that could potentially make them a lot of money. It's just good business sense to put something up there. And if they have to lower it $100, who cares, you know? I don't think they really know. I don't think Xbox is telling anybody. I saw Phil Spencer. I have him on my friends. He was playing Marvel's Avengers last night.
And doesn't have a worry in the world.
Not a worry in the world. He is just like, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah. Now, you haven't played Marvel's Avengers yet.
Not yet. I really want to. I played the beta a little bit.
It is fun. There are some cringe moments very early on that you have to kind of just grit your teeth through. Like the main character, played Miss Marvel, and she you're at A-Day, right? Avengers Day. And she's like a little nerd, you know, which is, you know, that's us. That's cool. I'm good with that.
She straight up looks like she came from Twitter.
Yeah. And you have to find these comic books, right? And if you find the 5 comic books, you get to go to the balcony prize. It's almost like a scavenger hunt thing, right? And so the way that they get to A-Day is by writing like a short fan fiction story about the Avengers, and then the best ones get to go here.
Oh,
so she's in a room and she's looking at something. I can't remember what it was exactly. I think it was in Thor's room, if I'm not mistaken. And these like 2 bullies come in and they're like messing with her. They're like, "Do you really think that they actually read your stupid story?" Right? And you know, that was kind of like the sentiment of it or whatever. And then she like gets all upset, and she's like, "If you something like if you stand by the fountain of truth like a tree." And I was just like, "Oh my god, what the actual fuck is this?" But I mean, as far as the gameplay goes, it's a little bit repetitive. They had to come out with a 14.5 gigabyte update.
God damn.
To make it playable.
Really?
It did not launch very well. Yeah, like online, you couldn't like actually play with your friends. I don't think that there was anything wrong with the campaign. I didn't get that far in it. I don't think there was anything wrong with the campaign, but you couldn't play online.
Is there an open world mode, like a free roam? And that, like, can it be like a thing where you just look at the map and just like fly all over the place if you want to, or is it?
So
linear?
I haven't gotten that far. So far, everything that I've done has been pretty linear. But you have like this table that you can, like the war table, and Jarvis will kind of direct you to like certain missions. That's kind of what I've been doing.
Jarvis is in there too. That's awesome.
Yeah, you actually had to like find Jarvis.
Oh, that's
early
weird.
On. Yeah,
I don't like Friday. I think she's kind of cool. I like her voice.
Yeah, I there's not really anything for me to spoil yet because I haven't really played that much.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about spoilers for that kind of game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because there's gonna be spoilers everywhere. But it's pretty. It's not really an open world game. I'm like kind of reading some stuff right here. And there's like questions. Why isn't it an open world game? Let's see here.
So I can't just like chill as Iron Man if I want to and just fly around. That's weird. That's it kind of bums me out a little bit. But I mean, once we get that set up, I'll have to give it a test drive. It might be more fun just playing with friends.
Yeah, it says Marvel's Avenger is not an open world game, but there are larger environments where you will be able to free roam locations for a little while and complete optional tasks.
I hope so.
So it's not. They're comparing it to like Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's, you know, you kind of have like a goal that you're going towards, but you kind of explore around.
Right.
Similar probably to like Jedi Fallen Order, where it's not quite open world, but like you have pretty large environments to explore. And it is co-op. Like even the story missions are co-op. So you and I would be able to play together. I know at the very beginning, it's just you and the Hulk. So one of us would have to be one or the other.
You know what mission I quit the beta during?
Was it the Hulk mission?
It was the Hulk mission. And, you know, can go fuck himself. The Incredible Hulk.
Okay. See, I don't think that he's as good in combat. Like if you were to put them 1v1, right? Like he would not be top of the meta, if you will.
We were roaming
Miss Marvel. Yeah, Miss Marvel is actually really good. I find. Yeah, she's. Do you know? You probably know more about Miss Marvel than I do, but
for those, it's intimidating when she makes her hands bigger.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Miss Marvel is basically like Mr. Fantastic, but more like stronger, I guess. Like, it's really big. She's really stretchy, and she creates like very large hands and beats the living hell out of bad guys with it.
She can make her face look mean. I've seen that loading screen. That little.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I like are the outfits. So like I have classic Hulk. I unlocked it pretty early, so I have like the old.
That's
Hulk
the pre-order.
Like bonus. Yeah. So I guess I technically did pre-order it because I ordered it. My internet's so fast that I ordered it with like 10 minutes before midnight, and it downloaded in time.
Damn. That's the one thing I was kicking myself for is like because I really wanted that original Iron Man outfit that he gets, the one he makes in the cave. And that one was, man, that would have been cool to have. But
so I do have the original Hulk and the original Miss Marvel that I'm playing with, which is kind of fun and cool to see. So there's a lot of collectibles and stuff like that to kind of go through. So there's a lot of stuff to do. I imagine that as they release more and more updates, it'll get better and better. I've heard rumors about them releasing kind of like raids and stuff.
Really?
Where you'll have like all your Avengers and stuff like that. I don't know what I would actually really like to see is almost like a create your Avenger. Like you kind of create your own character with its own powers and stuff.
Speaking of that,
kind of cool.
There's been an open world MMO called DC Universe Online, And I think it has crossplay and has had cross save for a very long time. I played it on PC for a little bit, and I made my own Irish Cowboy kind of guy. And you could, dude, this game was so ahead of its time, but there weren't too many people who got into it. And you can literally create your own guy, and you can pick your own role model, if you will. And each role model will let you have a certain set of abilities. So mine was the Irish Cowboy guy, but I made him like, there was like some gunslinger class you could choose. So I was a gunslinger. I had my guns out, but I also chose Wonder Woman as one of my role models, so I could have the little golden glowing lasso that she has. And so like that was the kind of theme I was going for.
Okay, yeah, actually, as you said that, I punched it in here, and the first video that popped up is revisiting DC Universe Online in 2020. So apparently, it is still up.
Dude, it would be really, if they're updating that game to this day, it would be really, really fun to get into that, especially since we have some pretty decent PCs now, and we're on here a lot more than what we have been. I think that would be kind of fun. I might actually check it out now. Like you talking about that, like to create your own guy. Like I all this info just came flooding back to my brain about DC Universe. Like, and I'm just like, oh man, it was actually pretty fun because there were like some areas where Solomon Grundy would be hanging out, and you have to like, and that you could run into other people like roaming the Gotham or whatever city you're in. You can pick your own like room. You can pick buildings and have your own like building that you can live in and stuff like that. Man, they did if this game had like a big update and did some advertising, because you never see ads for it like anywhere, and you could play it on, I guess, all the consoles and PC. I don't know why you wouldn't. Well, actually, it might not be available on Xbox. It might just be available on PlayStation and PC now. I'm thinking about it. That could be why, because we're Xbox people. I mean, we have both. But I mean, I can't. I use the PS4 Pro every day, just like the Xbox. But I mean, my wife and kid watch stuff on the PS4 Pro all the time. I still need to beat Spider-Man. Did you check out Fortnite with their Marvel theme they're going on with this season? I didn't log on just to buy skins.
I briefly looked at it. I didn't. Yeah. I don't play Fortnite. Me
either.
I don't like it, but I did see that they were releasing it, obviously to coincide with the new Marvel's Avengers game. It's really good marketing strategy for them. Yeah. So I don't blame them. The problem that I have, I don't like free games. Yeah. I find like it's like when you're younger or whatever, you don't have money, you love free games. Yeah. Like as you get older, you start to realize it's like going to the club. Even like a $3 cover charge does a lot to keep the riffraff out. And so when you have free games, what always ends up happening is that you just get a mass of cheaters. Because there's no consequence to them getting banned because they just create another account.
Defiance went free to play a while back. Defiance, it's called Defiance 2050 now on the Xbox One. It's still Defiance 2013 something edition on the 360, and so whenever people come over to the 2050 version, it's free to play. All this stuff. And they have a global chat, which I love. Every game should have that, and they have a really smart and good way to use it. I play Defiance like every morning just as a warm up, just to do what event they have going on. But it being free, that global chat that pops up, you don't get as many spoilers as you would see in like a Twitch chat, but you still get a lot. But there's people, the nastiest people going at each other, like saying the worst things ever, and it's always just like that kind of like, I don't want to call it like Facebook messages you see, or like it's just like Jerry Springer stuff that you would, daytime kind of lingo. They have like fuck like DA, and they'll spell fuck like FUQ. It's like those kind of people like cursing at each other over and over again. It's man, it really turns you off. Sometimes I have to interject and be like, I bet you won't hit him. Yeah. But free to play games are pretty much like that across the board. But there are a lot of people who are dedicated to playing free to play games, and they expect more from free to play games. And when Destiny went free to play, it really brought in the cheaters, because you could just keep making new accounts that would get banned, and they would just make new accounts again through Steam, and they would be in PvP and stuff like that. And they're having a hard time getting that out of Trials of Osiris. That's why I'm not playing it right now. That's why a lot of people aren't playing it right now, is because there's just way too many cheaters, and like legitimate cheaters. And I've got so many clips of that I'm going to send you. I think you'll enjoy that. But cheaters,
I think making your game free to play, if it's not right out of the gates, I think making it free to play is like you throwing your hands up in the air because you've acknowledged that your game has died. And so if you can't get people to pay the cover charge anymore, you just open it up and give more accessibility.
Yeah.
And then like you said, the consequence of that is that you just get cheaters. It's why, I couldn't play Call of Duty's newest, what the hell is it called? Call of Duty
Warzone.
Warzone. I couldn't play that for very long because it was free to play. You immediately just get cheaters.
Yeah,
like straight away.
I really wanted to get into that too because like there was a lot of people who have been just loving it. My wife at her work. There's apparently a group of guys there who have their own podcast and all they do is talk about Warzone and how much they love it. And it kind of made me think, maybe a lot of people are really playing this game. I see top Division Destiny streamers and Division 2 streamers, they're all switching to like mainly streaming Warzone now. It almost makes you want to get into it.
Yeah, no, see, so I did play it for a while.
Yeah.
It's Call of Duty's, as far as the customization of your weapons goes, as far as the gunplay goes, it's the best probably Call of Duty has ever put out there.
Yeah.
The problem with that game was in the multiplayer, the maps were horrendous. It was just not good, and the spawns were awful for a long time. I don't know if they fixed it because I haven't gone back to check.
A lot of people, also the season pass thing is killing people with that too. A lot of people aren't liking that.
Yeah, see, it's really hard to have a season pass model when you release a game every year. If you release a game every couple of years, it makes more sense because it's like, okay, the season pass is like the next thing to do. Instead, it's like,
is that efficient?
Screw it, I'll just wait for the next one to come out.
Does it cost more money to put just a brand new game out? Packaging and all that stuff like that? You think that would be expensive?
Yeah, I don't know. Call of Duty is they just churn out games every year, man. I don't know. It's got to be market saturation at this point, right? Like everybody's kind of sick of it.
For 2 weeks before Cold War was leaked, a lot of people were talking this is a rumor. Look at this interesting leak. All that lingo that you would give to games that don't come out every year. And it's just we knew it was going to happen. There was going to be a Call of Duty.
Yeah. I mean, I found for myself the best way to get still excited about Call of Duties at all is if you just focus on one particular company of the three. That way you're really only getting 3 years as opposed to one every year. And so the one that I've picked is Treyarch.
Yeah, let's say you're a Treyarch.
Disappointed me with Black Ops 4, but I actually liked Black Ops 3. That's an unpopular opinion. The people can crucify me for that if they want to, but I don't care.
I gave it a good try. I gave it a good try. Black Ops 3. It looked really good. It was a lot like Destiny. That was who they're obviously competing against as terms of the classes go with the Golden Gun and the Fist of Havoc and all that stuff. The Slam.
Everybody, they didn't like it because people had been complaining about advanced movement mechanics in Call of Duty. The problem was that by the time people got tired of it, Black Ops 3 was probably 3/4 of the way through development. So there was really nothing that they could have done. Oh. And outside of Titanfall, which, can we just take a minute? Titanfall was great.
Man, it was so good.
EA, yeah, we probably should have put this in our last episode. EA is at it again. EA put that game out to die. They launched Titanfall 2 right in the middle of Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
There was a 2 weeks, I think Call of Duty launched first or Battlefield launched first. I can't remember which one. 2 weeks later, the other one launched. And that week in between, that's when they put out Titanfall 2. They just, with almost no marketing, they just set that game out there to die.
Man, I really
is at it again.
I really wish things were different, with that, because it was going good for people who play on Xbox too, because Titanfall was an exclusive for a while, and then it went over to PlayStation and Titanfall 2. But I even started to be okay with the whole named Titans, but there was nothing better than customizing your Titan in Titanfall 1. And I was a big fan of the quad rocket at the end and Titanfall 1, and you couldn't get that. I'm not even sure if you can get that now in Titanfall 2. And
there was nothing like just destroying other people's Titans because that they worked hard to get it.
That's what it felt like. It was good.
You just took it from them.
I know, right?
Especially if you were a pilot that destroyed their Titan. That was always the best feeling.
Like I hate exclusives. Yeah, it's like David versus Goliath, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the C4. Jesus Christ, throw down. Whatever you do, throw it down. Don't toss it up in the air. You're dead. That is the craziest explosive in any game besides what Crysis actual nuke, Fallout 4's mini nukes. These C4s would take up your whole field of view when they went off, and if you threw it up to kill people, you were dead too. You need to toss that bitch like a floor down below you, because man, forget about it.
You know what my favorite thing to do was in Titanfall 1? Grabbing somebody with the grappling hook.
Oh yeah.
Like if you could land it, it was so hard to land, but if you could land it, yeah, you did. You felt like Scorpion. You're just, get over here.
Like, and you could escape too with that grappling hook. I would always have that thing equipped. Man, talking about it, it makes me want to play it too. I played it a little bit on PC. I played the whole campaign. It was good. I don't think it was as great as people are saying, but it was really fun. There were some really good moments in it, and that was a big step for them. But like when you were talking about, like, I really like customizing your own guy. I really like customizing your own Titan. Does the new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, are you people, or can you make your own guy in the multiplayer?
I haven't looked into that. I know that, so from the last Call of Duty that just dropped, I mean, like, there's some customization, but they're preset customizations. Like, I guess you could get like different outfits and stuff like that for some, but Call of Duty in the way of character customization has never really been a thing. I mean, I guess that would be something for them to introduce. I was talking more about weapon customization.
I got you.
In this last one, like, where you can actually even change the type of rounds that your gun will utilize in this one, and which will change, its damage, its range, and stuff like that. So that's what I was talking about. But to get it back on the rails with Treyarch there, the reason why I brought up Titanfall is, outside of Titanfall, I thought that Black Ops 3 actually had like the best movement mechanics. It was it was second only to Titanfall. I really liked the way that they did it. Like, for Call of Duty to pull that off, it's impressive, because they're not known for innovation.
So, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War campaign has gender-neutral pronouns and character creation.
Nice. Nice.
That's what came up right there, and that was an ad that was playing for anyone listening in the background. Yeah. My bad.
Because I know Ronald Reagan won the Cold War without firing a single shot, but man, had they misgendered him, I'm sure he probably would have just launched nuclear warfare all over the place.
That whole, I was really surprised to see a whole room full of men in that trailer. I was like waiting for the moment, and sure enough, like, you would see another like promos for it. There would be like a chick there who's like, this is her weapon storage locker, and it's like her operation, and she's walking around and doesn't have any lines, but she's walking around in there like she owns the place.
Of course. Yep, absolutely. Like I said, Ronald Reagan probably would have just ended the entire world had they misgendered him. So I'm glad his preferred pronouns were he, him.
Oh wait, that is right. They were saying that you can basically make your own guy in the campaign too. So I'm looking forward to Cold War. I think I'm going to try it out. It'll be the first Call of Duty game I've tried out in a while. Maybe ever since Black Ops 3.
I was going to say, when was the last one that you played?
Gosh, I know. Like, I was really looking to getting into World at War, but the other World War II game. And then they just made it too political, man. Like, those little video promos you would see when you would choose like your class or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, those things, that was weird. Like, I want to get back into that game. I know it's like a bang you're dead kind of game, and I'm not really a fan of those all the time, but with Titanfall, I loved it. And I don't know, Cold War just looks really, really good. And it's period of time I'm always interested in. Big history buff. But if customization is there, then I'll definitely try it out. I'll give it a good old college try. But I don't like games where I have to pick a character. Like, I got to put myself in the game. It's just more personal. It's just it feels better. Like, I don't want to make someone else look good. Like, I want to look good doing it.
Yeah. No, so the only thing that I do like about the bang you're dead games, like Call of Duty, is that it always does give you a chance to kind of get yourself out of like a tight situation.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes Call of Duty fun, if you're into that kind of thing, are the kill streaks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's never really been like, this last Call of Duty was kind of an exception where the gunplay was actually phenomenal. Like, it's the best gunplay in a game that I've played since PUBG. and PUBG. It didn't overtake PUBG, but it was pretty damn close. Like everything felt nice.
And that game
when
has
you
ray
were in
tracing
a
too, with all that.
PUBG.
No, I mean the last Call of Duty,
Yes.
Warzone or whatever it was that came out. Yeah, for gunplay to be as good as you say with ray tracing, on it, that would be something to see.
Yeah, they like dropped. I think it's just Modern Warfare, right?
That's right. Modern Warfare. I don't
but they
know why.
dropped it and they called it Warzone. That's why I keep like struggling because I'm like, I don't want to say it's Modern Warfare, and then people are like, no, you idiot, it's Warzone.
There are so many people playing.
No, they just dropped the name and then they.
Oh my god! Why didn't I think of this?
Because that's all people play anyway.
I bought Call of Duty, the one with the first one with the Battle Royale. I actually really liked the Battle Royale Call of Duty. I thought it was okay. I don't
Black Ops 4 Battle Royale?
Yes, that one. I thought that one was all right. Maybe not really, really liked it because I haven't played it that much. But I thought it was fun. It's just there wasn't really a lot of people playing it. It was more about PUBG and stuff at the time. Yeah. Like even with Fortnite, like I don't play it like basically at all, but I want to think that maybe there'll be a time when I do get into it. And so like this is so bad. Like when there's like a dry spell of content that isn't coming out, like for multiple games, I'll get on there just to buy some skins. I don't know why, but like this just in case I get back into it right now. I have a bad problem. I'm trying to be really good about it, but man, this whole marble thing, they even put some characters in the season pass too. Makes it worse.
Yeah,
because then you gotta buy a little bit of levels just to get like the Groot or other characters you want. And Iron Man is level 100, but it's not just Iron Man. Level 100, you get Tony Stark, and he has a bunch of different styles where he can like turn into his armor and stuff like that.
Is it Robert Downey Jr. though?
It looks like him. It kind of looks like. Well, it fairly looks like him, but they're adding like rare Marvel superheroes in the item shop on some days, and like the orange background characters would be like $20, and I think there's this other class. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but it's like with the red background, so it's like super rare, kind of like an Ark Survival Evolved with like the red class gear that you would get in that game, and it was the Silver Surfer. That was the first big one that they dropped in that game, and so I was like, oh man, they gave him like a little glider on his surfboard. they had his like Silver Surfer pickaxe, and man, it looked really, really slick. I heard they're going to be adding Black Panther. I guess that's the thing that they're going to be. They're trying to figure out a good way to do it. They might do some tribute.
Yeah. I mean, as they should, right?
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman did a great job of bringing Black Panther to life.
I still get chills on that quote where he says, I am not my father. Like, man.
Yeah.
That was my favorite line. It was so good.
What's the matter? You're not going to try to do the accent?
no, not happening. I thought about it on the first word, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play it safe.
Probably for the best.
When I censor myself, you know it's for a good reason.
So I know that we just kind of crapped on free-to-play games, but the free-to-play game that I'm looking forward to playing is Hyperscape. We talked about it a little bit before the show, we got on here. You've played it. What are your thoughts about it?
I really first when you get it's slick. You can tell that they spent a lot of time doing this, and they spent a lot of time planning the beta. There was a season pass for the beta, and it only lasted like a week or so. But you could get some really cool exclusive gear. I'm not sure if you can get it now. Maybe it would be even crazier if you couldn't. But I don't like the whole FOMO, the fear of missing out stuff. But as far as gameplay goes, it didn't take that long to find the game. And when you got in the game, it was a character game too, a character battle royale where you had to pick like certain name characters. But there was a couple of people you could pick. It didn't really bother me. But when I got into the game, the only thing that I wasn't too fond of was I had basically I think like the next tier up from like a blue quality weapon, and it was an LMG. Like those things should freaking mow people down in that game. But when I had that, I was surviving for a while in my first game, and the kill time was just so atrocious. And I don't know if it has something to do with how far I was away, like fall off or not. But even with the machine gun, those things can go down range, and the kill time was not there for me, and it was an immediate turnoff. And I just did not want to pick up the game after that because I was like, this is ridiculous. Everyone's getting away, and I am accurate as hell. with my shots, and they would just hop on off somewhere else. But as far as the mechanics go, like the hacks that they have, there's multiple hacks you can do. It's another aspect of the game that's different than a lot of battle royales, like really any battle royale that I can think of. There's one where you can basically turn into like a metallic, like almost damage resistant bouncing ball. That's pretty nuts. I think you can pick people. I think you can revive people too with another hack. I can't remember what it is, but you can also put up like your basic wall, your barrier, just like your Reinhardt, just like you're a Titan in Destiny. Just like it's basically these kind of hacks that you have, and there's a lot more too. I think there was like 8 or something in the beta, but it looks so clean and it looks so good. And when you watch streamers play, it looks really good. But I don't know if they fixed the kill time. I'm sure they have by now because it's been out for a little bit. But I'm definitely going to try it at some point in time. It plays the best on PC, I think. But we'll know when the Series X and the PS5 gets here how well that is. It could play pretty well on the Xbox One X right now and PS4 Pro, but I wouldn't know.
So one of the things that I'm reading here, everybody loves kind of like the world that they've kind of created. They say that it's kind of like a Tron like universe that they're in, or like
I can see that. Yeah, it's like a simulation kind of place.
Yeah, but the only thing that people are complaining about is the time to kill. They go, the game is so fast paced.
Oh, they're actually saying
it just takes takes so long for people to die.
Yeah,
but those are the only criticisms that I see of it. So I was definitely looking forward to checking that out.
It's an immediate turn off when you start shooting your gun. I think it's just best to know that going in. That way because me, when I saw that in game, no one had told me that previously. So when I started, I'm like, this is not okay. And I stopped and I never went back to it. And I'm like, man, I was really excited about it. It looked good. And I was even okay with just the whole like character kind of choice thing, and I'm never okay with that. So it was really looking good until I started shooting people.
Yeah. So I mean, are there like advanced movement?
Oh yeah, yes, okay. Absolutely.
So it is. You can
hop over.
Fast paced then.
Oh, it's very fast paced, and like if you get into a conflict with somebody, like, and the thing is that you can't really hear other people coming up behind you, like you can count on PUBG stuff in games like that. The footsteps thing. I don't know if that was my settings alone, but I turned super hearing on to see if I could get any difference out of it, and I couldn't. You just had to basically rely on like range. And I'm not just talking like medium range, like across like rivers or like a bridge or a canal or something like that down the street.
Oh, wow.
That's the characters you're going to be looking for to take out. But the thing is that someone could be coming up behind you and you might not even hear it, and because you also don't hear a lot of background noise like you would in PUBG, like the gunshots from like miles away, which in a way is a good thing because that's the one downside about PUBG is it's very realistic with how loud the guns are and the levels you're in. But you just can't hear people around you that well.
Okay, so would you say that it's more or less fast-paced than, say, Apex Legends, which I'm seeing a lot of people compare it to?
I would say it's faster. In my opinion, it's definitely faster in Apex Legends because I played Apex Legends for a little bit. Yeah, that's another game where I hate that you have to choose characters. That game would have been so good if you could just make your own guy. Like if they're going to stick to the Titanfall universe, Titanfall didn't have all these named characters and only a couple of them. And those are the people who are the leaders of the teams you choose. I just wish, I don't know. I wish things wouldn't go like that. People want that to me. Having a character choice that is like straight from Overwatch, in my opinion. And if anyone wants to pull in Overwatch players, their game is going to have named characters in it. That's how I'm seeing it. Because I don't know another game that came before Overwatch that really had these many named characters. Maybe there's an obvious one I'm not thinking of, but like that to me is just right off the bat. I don't even know if a lot of people notice it or not, but when you see like a named character you have to pick in multiplayer, like straight up, I think of Overwatch right away. Nothing wrong with Overwatch. We used to play that a little bit. You played it a lot. You were really good at that. And I just, I don't know. I just want to make my own character. I just want to put myself in the game.
Yeah. See, like you said, I played a lot of Overwatch. I actually really like when you create different characters and stuff like that. I mean, there are tons though, right? Like MOBA would be a big one where there's characters and stuff like that. League of Legends would be another one where you have characters. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I do like that because I think it gives like each character like a unique story and background and feel to them. You know what I mean? And then you just find the one that you like the most.
Yeah.
So
But if all the good ones are female characters, like that bugs me.
I got you. Was that the case? I mean, it is Ubisoft and it was made in Canada. It's not just Canada, the worst part of Canada, which is Montreal, French Canadian.
I don't think the name. I think
okay, so
Canada, yeah,
yeah,
that's great. I think
earned my respect yet.
Mine either. I refer to Canada as the undiscovered North still. So that's how I feel about that. As far as Hyperscape goes, I don't think the name of the characters have anything to do with their abilities. I may be wrong, but I didn't notice. I didn't see. This was weeks ago, like when I played the beta. And as far as I can remember, I don't know if there was anything special about the characters or not. But I don't think it really made a big impact on what you did. Everyone could still pick up the same hacks as each other, and that was basically about it. And if that's the case, that there was no reason for named characters, the only reason they would put it in there would be to attract people, from Apex Legends now, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So I think we have about maybe 20-25 minutes left. I mean, or 25 minutes, not left, but like that we have recorded so far. That's actual like talk. So,
yeah.
Too hot for TV. You know what we should do? We should save all those. We should save all those clips, and then like sell them to like some 3 a.m. like people who used to do Girls Gone Wild. I'm sure they're looking for something to make some money with. We'll give them some more spicy recordings. Things you wouldn't hear on the internet, which is crazy because there's the dark web.
Yeah, right. Yeah, advertising it as things you wouldn't hear on the internet. That's that might pique the interest of a lot of.
We would just people. So that basically means we would just be pleasant.
Right. Speaking of that, that's funny that you say that. I saw like this little article. It was like Xbox is the most toxic of the three between them, Sony and PC. It was not very scientific, but it's like, have you never heard an Xbox 360 chat before?
Right.
Have you never heard one of those?
There's like a meme on Facebook of just a sample of what Modern Warfare 2 and back in the day. Man, some savage stuff on there. I used to be in an all UK clan in Destiny 1. And some of the guys were really good there, but man, they are horrible to each other. Well, just like you and me when we played Ark on the European servers.
Yeah.
Those UK guys, man. One of them straight up said, "Your mom's dead." Nothing else. Just that. Just that. Wow.
Hey, so Brad Sams on Twitter just tweeted 47 minutes ago, so right before we got on.
Yeah.
The Xbox Series X leaked, like the actual picture of it, like what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
Did you see this?
I saved. I saw 2 pictures last night when I was listening to Rich Review Tech. He something came up, so I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're looking at. He's like, this is going to be on the show tomorrow. So he didn't tell anyone, but I looked up and I saw a box art of the Series X. And is that what you're referring to, or is it something? Oh,
no, it's like actually, yeah. Did you just pull it up?
Yeah.
It literally looks like a white Xbox One X with a speaker on the top of it. What is that circle?
I think that's the fan. So like I have a 1S, the Gears of War one, back in the bedroom. And if you look, you wouldn't notice that circular pattern until you look actually like down at it from the gradient that's on there. And it I think that's basically what that is. That actually does look like the Series S right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so scroll down. There's like on his webpage here about an hour ago, there's like a video that kind of like compares it. to show you like the size. So it's a little bit shorter and about half the width of the Xbox. They're even like even leaked the price. It says it's going to be $299.
Bam. Which we have said for a while that it was going to be that, but there's a lot of YouTubers saying that we've said this price for a while and blah blah blah. They're basically, I don't know. It just everyone I think really had a pretty good hunch that it was going to be 300. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid price. That's their ace up their sleeve. It's like PlayStation comes out, says $499. Xbox comes out, says better console, same price, get good. If it's $499, and then Sony would say something for a week or two, and then they'll reveal the Series S at 300. Get good. Their all digital edition will probably be 450, right? That could be a thing, but like we said like I was telling you a long time ago, like it would be weird. You know what I mean? It would be like, I feel like the pricing department are kind of compulsive when it comes to those half numbers, those half stages. Like it's always like, oh, it's going to be 300 or 400 or 600 or 500. Like seeing a 450, it would have to be bundled with something for that to make sense, unless it lost something, such as the Blu-ray drive. Yeah. Sony just does not like Blu-ray drives.
See, I still think that the PlayStation 5 is going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think the PlayStation 5 is probably going to come out at maybe $499. And I think the Xbox Series X is going to be $599.
Yeah. So you actually think the Series X will be 600 then? I do. I think it's reasonable. Yeah.
I think that goes back to the rumors that we heard earlier on, and something that we had talked about, I think, before we even started the show, which was that the Series S
with you
will be half the price of the Xbox Series X.
It will definitely be half the price. And if that is
if this is 300, I think it would make sense, because I think Xbox would just say, we have the better console, of course it's more expensive.
Right.
And then they say, but hey, if you don't want to pay that, here's a better console still for less.
Absolutely. Because there's a lot of stuff that backs that up. And even I was in the 600 price point group for like a while. But the reason why I'm thinking it's still going to be 500, there's a couple things. There was Phil Spencer's lingo when he was talking about how we're not competitors with Sony anymore. And them talking about giving buyer's choice also is kind of hinting that it might be 600, and there's a couple of price listings on that too. So it like, I'm 50-50 on this, but I think if Phil Spencer's competition isn't Sony that he was saying, and I don't think it is Sony, I don't think it has been Sony for a while, then if it is Nvidia, then they are already undercutting people. I mean, even at like, I think 500 is good if you look at their competitors as Nvidia and what they're offering. But at the same time, the $400 RTX 3070 is going to be better than a 2080 Ti, which is going to be right up there with the Series X, because the Series X is going to have the power of a 2080 Super. Plus, it's going to have like 100 gigabits per second with their velocity architecture, and so it's going to have a few tricks up its sleeves. Man, this whole thing is really bugging me, because like I could totally see it being 600, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it's going to happen just where things stand right now, especially with Nvidia's pricing. Like when I started thinking about maybe they have both just been waiting for Nvidia to show their prices soon, or what if, here's another thought I kind of toyed around with last night. What if Nvidia is really the big dog, the top dog? You know what I mean? What if out of respect they let Nvidia go first, and rightfully so, for how they have dominated the market for years without really any competition, not even from AMD until very recently. AMD hasn't announced their things yet. There are some leaks coming out, but people are saying Big Nappy is going to come in big. And if that is the case, if there is some kind of like, rank and file system, like some unspoken kind of respect they have, these big gaming industry heads, like that would be kind of interesting if they just let Nvidia go first, or Nvidia swooped in at the moment they could to take advantage of Xbox and Sony being quiet. There's just so many different ways this could have gone.
Yeah, for sure. And it it's really strange to me that neither Sony nor Microsoft has announced their prices, at least, or even like a pre-order yet. Like, we're really getting down to the wire here.
Yeah.
I mean, how long can they wait, do you think, before they have to say something?
If they would have released the prices and the pre-orders before Nvidia, I think there would be a big backlash, and because they would look at people who would just pre-order the PS5 or the Xbox Series X would see a 3070, which outperforms the 2080 Ti for $400. The 2080 Ti, the big dog right now in graphics cards, like the best one you can get, and for $400, and then we're paying $600 for, or $500 even, for an Xbox Series X that's supposed to last us a few years. I think it would have been messy, and that's why I think they might have just been waiting for Nvidia this whole time.
Maybe that's an interesting theory.
Yeah,
and it would make sense when Phil Spencer says that he doesn't view Sony as a competitor. See, I always took that as meaning that Sony is going still the traditional console route, where you get your games, they're big exclusive, where Xbox is kind of pushing Netflix for games with the Game Pass. And so maybe he even views his competition more directly as even Stadia now, and not so much Sony.
Yeah, Stadia, man, that's a whole other thing. We should do something on Stadia at some point in time. What could have been. But when consoles have always been a set amount of steps behind PC gaming, as you know, when you look at where Nvidia is taking things now, we still haven't seen what AMD is about to do. Probably, something reasonable, something in between Series X and Nvidia, maybe something more than Nvidia. We don't know yet. But one thing we do know is that consoles have always been a step, a certain amount of steps behind PC gaming. And, sometimes wishful thinkers would think, oh, the lines will soon be blurred between PC and console gaming. And, for some people, that's the case. These things are going to get so much better. I don't even know how much better NVIDIA graphics cards could get, but they probably do. And that's scary.
Yeah,
but consoles, like, eventually we're going to have to look at consoles as just other PCs that performed just as, on par, if not, the same with some games, because a game is only as good as the developer makes it. A game only runs as good as well as a developer makes it on a console or a PC. You can get the same exact performance just depending on how much time they want to take into it. But right now, we don't know how many steps Xbox is going to be behind PC or PS5 is going to be behind PC. But we know it's not going to be too far.
Well, I think it's always going to be a couple of steps behind until they do the thing that I have been begging Microsoft to do for years now. And you know what I'm about to say, because I've told you 100 times, but that is a modular console.
That would be
where
great.
You can plug in your own kind of specs into it. It's just because the way that they could do it, because it is still their brand and their console, is that you just have very specific things that can plug into it, and then you just plug and play with what you want in there. And then you can upgrade every couple of years, and that would keep you right in the market with PC.
Phones almost did that.
A console.
Phones, there were modular phones. Motorola had a really good one. You could just swap out the audio in it if you wanted to. You could swap out the display. You could add things to it. Like, modular things is really like the most sense it could make, especially for the customer, the people buying these things. It's a way to not feel so locked into a certain company or a brand, or you could just buy different parts for it.
Right.
And the best thing brands.
And the best thing about that for both people, so like the nerdy kind of PC people like you and I that have built their own PCs, and then just your average everyday person who just wants to buy a console and play it, is that every couple of years you could just release a new bundle that has, these are the specs on it, and here's the price.
All these different parts. That would be great.
Yeah. They could do it when they, release a better graphics card, every couple of years or whatever. So it's like, oh, here's the new, AMD graphics card bundle, $500 or whatever the case may be.
See, I bet phones could get back into that game now that you talk about it, because when we buy like pre-built consoles, it would be the same as like buying a phone. Even Xbox with not the Play Anywhere, but their they're in Game Pass, or I can't remember what it's called, but like I talked about this a couple of years ago, that I could see Xbox going the way of phones and stuff, and basically every couple of years there's a new phone that comes out, or every year really, just like the Xbox. And like that's another thing I'm thinking of with the Series X. We've already heard rumors that they're testing another upgrade to the Series X already, which, you know, I think at first I was like, oh man, this Project Dante thing or whatever, but it kind of makes sense that they've really been taking 4 years developing the Series X and getting it out. You know, 4 years is a long time now. There's a lot of improvements that have been made in 4 years that some would say these consoles seem obsolete right now. But I could see phones. People want to build their own phone, and people want that now, and they wanted that forever. That's why some of these modular phones came out. But it would be. I don't know how much better some of these phones could get, really. Even with TVs, I bet people have fun doing that too. Have your custom built thing. These things that we don't have options available to make your own custom built phone, TV, or whatever yet. I have a feeling people are going to start doing this, and you know, maybe in the next 10 years we'll start seeing that. Maybe even 5 years. But I wish they wouldn't have stopped doing that with phones. It was just a good way to go. But they probably saw that they weren't making as much money as they could have been doing it.
Right.
Everyone has to go in. Everyone has to go all in with it, though, for that to be a thing. And I hope they do. I think VR is about to be a bigger thing in terms of like headsets and how easier those things are getting. Like it's going to be like people when Ready Player One. It feels like it's going to be like that. People were saying that a lot when the movie came out. I was like, whatever. But now with all this stuff going on, you know, like what if I could just put on some glasses, some shades, and just slip into this world? I can. You know, and if it's something as simple as like being a modular VR headset that you could upgrade over time, I mean, that's why people aren't buying them now, is because they're just too big, and there's just going to be a much better, smaller one when it comes out in a year from now, another prototype. Looks like we're going to have to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more. Hope you liked it. You can follow the show at Reactive Reload on Twitter. You can follow me at the Irish Cowboy, No Take Backsies, and Crossover at Reactive Brandon. You guys have a good day, night, whatever the hell time it is you're watching this. We fucking love you.